Leah is absolutely ready to go. She's there's some big smiles and dancing going on in the sides. So let's get her instructor picture there. Lea Beck, CBA from the USA. I know a lot of you guys have been really excited to see Leah's stuff, and I just want to read the description because it was a where was it on here? It's not on this one. Here it is. I skipped past it. So it's playing with fire, which I think sounds really cool. Roaring bonfire, tiki torches, and more fiery themed sculptures demonstrated. Fire doesn't have to be chaotic and consume you. Learn a formula to bang out a blazing fire that looks alive and is super hot. So please, with all of that in mind, we would like to give a huge and very warm Q Corner Convention welcome to Lea Beck.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Lea. Thank you for your
Hello.
patience.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
guys.
You are live on the Q Corner Convention 2020.
Oh my goodness.
We're
Very
just as excited.
Living the dream, living the dream.
So what we're going to do is we're not going to take up any more of your time or any more of the watchers' time. We're just going to pass you straight over.
I've got a fiery head.
You have got it. Your head's on fire. He's a bit hot-headed. We are going to get out of the way and leave you in the wonderful hands of Lea Beck. Enjoy, guys. We'll speak to you afterwards.
Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Hello, hello. Thank you all for coming to your house where you're watching me. Welcome to my house. This is my first ever live stream. I don't really do balloons in my house, but I'm doing them tonight, so I'm really excited. I am a very new to doing teaching. I was a part of the Float Convention this past year, just back in January. I want to give a big shout out to the Float family and everybody. Hello, my Float family friends. And I'm really honored to be a part of this qualatex balloon convention. I especially want to thank Evie for inviting me. It was a pleasure to meet her at Float as well. So today we are going to play with fire. This is a design that is very close to my heart. I see a lot of fire out there that people have made, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I made a fire sort of randomly and ended up being a great formula that I wanted to share with you. On a more metaphorical tip, I think this class is about, during these hard times, is about keeping the flame alive, because it's really easy to get discouraged and not know what we're doing and what our place is as artists in the industry. And we don't ever want our fire to go out. It's our passion, and I think it's really important that we feed it, and whatever that means, kindling, and make it grow and keep that fire alive. So that's what I'm going to teach you guys today, is some flaming techniques and ways to apply them to such things as tiki-torches and bonfires and other things if we have time. All right, so we are going to start with a small demonstration of the flame, and then we're going to move into a larger, more campfire that's going to have flares, and then we're going to expand even larger to a bonfire. All the colors that you need are basically, we're working with non-round balloons, and we're going to be using basically yellow, orange, and red, and then variations of those colors, such as goldenrod, gold, and that's pretty much it. And 350 Qs, 260 Qs, and 160 Qs. And for those of you who are wondering, I am a part of I Heart Balloon Art. That's my Instagram account. I'm going to take this out to clear some space. Huh? All right. What you're going to need are some basic hand pumps, which I'm sure you guys all have. Basically, we will start with slicing these guys in half. This is going to be the basic tack weave technique. So after you cut them in half, you're going to tie off the ends of the, and they're going to be approximately 6 inches. Yes. Approximately the full length of that half, which is about, I lost my, yes. Sorry, let's tape measure. This angle. My table's at a slight angle, so it's messing me up. All right, so it's about 15 inches, and just let a little air out so it's soft. And we're gonna inflate those, each one, approximately 2 pumps. 1, 2. They don't have to be perfectly exact. Oftentimes, when you observe a fire, it's really hard for the eye to acknowledge the colors. When you look at a fire, typically there's not red in it. It's usually the smoke that's turning the orange into red. But for purposes of balloons, we're going to definitely use red. Our minds will identify with it. Again, these don't have to be super exact. I'm going anywhere from 12 to 13 inches with a little bit of slack or air to make them soft. Now we're going to make X's and just try to make them as even as possible. I think this one has a hole, possibly. Might be losing air. So I'm taking a 260. These are really different sizes. I'm taking 260 yellow, citrine, 260 orange, and then 160 red. Ruby. We're basically very simply going to stack them on top of each other. The most important thing is that their colors are divided evenly. I'm taking the bottom layer, so we have 3 layers here. I'm taking the bottom layer and wrapping them over the entire set of 3. And repeating. We're going to trim all of this excess latex. Now I'm taking the orange, and tying them together. Here's where it gets tricky. So I have the red is to my left. Sorry, the orange is to my left of the red. So that means I have to make sure the orange is to the left of the red on all of these. If you mess up, you can always adjust it. Okay. And now I'm taking the 160 ruby, which is the last layer. And then everything to it. our flame. This is a very simple, basic flame that we are going to expand from here. So something like this would work great for like a candle. If you would just use basically a 350Q or something and attach it to that. You could use it as a lighter, a big lighter, or other options, which I'm going to show you later. Next, we're going to move on to a larger flame. Okay, so same thing again. Repetition will help you guys learn this. So this time I'm including, I got my three primary colors, red, orange, and yellow, and I'm going to add some goldenrod. These are 160s. Sorry, 260 red, orange, and yellow, and then 160 orange, ruby, and yellow. Let's just work with these guys. These are going to be my flares. Thank you, Iris, for translating. What's she translating into?
Spanish.
Español. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Okay, so I cut these guys in half, and I'm tying them off again. Okay. All right, same dealio. We're going to inflate them about 2 pumps. 1, 2. A little bit of air out. Uno, dos. Good morning. So I'm broadcasting live from California, San Francisco Bay Area. No live studio audience, although my friends wanted to come over. We had to, practice social distancing. Still, it would have been awesome. Hopefully some of my friends are watching. Hola! Okay. So the flares are the 160s. These guys are going to be a little bit longer than the 260. So my 260 is about 13 inches, and my 160 is approximately 18 inches. This does not have to be exact, but you do want to leave a little tip. And you don't want to let too much air out of the 160s. The other ones I want soft. 260s I want a little bit soft. The 160s I'd like to be a little bit firmer, fully inflated. It's bedtime in Texas. I'm just being told to say these quotes. I don't know what they mean. Huh?
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. Cool. Well, I hope you guys are tucked in and ready to get your campfire all, get your bed warm by the campfire. Oops. Actually, I don't want yellow. My mistake. Okay. So we have 2 of the 160 ruby, 2 of the 160 mandarin, and then I've got two 260s, each of these guys. Same thing, you're making X's. Like, these are totally imperfect, but you guys at home can make it more perfect. They're good enough. Oftentimes, I've seen fire go from red to yellow. And hi, Judy. House conquered. Oftentimes, people will build the red as the bottom to yellow as the top. But accurately, the hottest part of the flame is the lightest part. And in the instance of propane, it would actually be blue at the center. Fire it up, bro! That's my air horn. Okay, so we're going to be stacking them again, but we're going to add our flares in. These guys are going to tie together. Sort of basing this off of memory because I didn't have enough time to practice. All right. Okay, so yellow is the hottest, so that should be the bottom. Then orange. Then I'm going to add these flares in. So there's 260, then 160. Then I'm going to do a red, and then a 160 red. Okay. You can see the layers. So now, bring them together again. I'm starting with the yellow and tying them a set over the whole set of layers. So right now you can kind of see I messed up. I've got two of my oranges going in the same spot, and there's not a 260 orange on this side. If you mess up, you just slip it in and correct it. Alright. I'm going to the right of the yellow, the right of the yellow, the right of the yellow. I don't have enough to tie, so I'm going to do them in sets of 2. Okay. I'm going to leave my flares out. Just ignore those guys. I'm going to proceed with the red. And it's going to the right of the orange. Okay. I am mostly a decorator. I do some twisting. I experiment. I've definitely learned every time, but I don't really consider myself, like some of these conventions just blow me away. And women, you guys are amazing. I just cannot applaud you enough. To all the twisters out there. Okay, so we have the same concept as before, except I'm using a 260 for the top. So my flares, we're basically going to be taking it and bending and then sort of twisting. Not the full twist. I'm trying to create the points of the fire. I hope you can see that okay. It's basically just kind of twisting it so that it makes a triangular shape. And then I'm going to shove it in. The tension should hold it in place. Hola, Brad. Hola, Gabby. Gabby balloons. Same thing. Here's where the fire can get a little bit more expressive. And you can certainly add more flares to this, which we're going to expand on. But for this small guy, we started off with the formula, and now we're kind of getting more organic, where there's not exactly a right way to do this. I'm just attempting to weave this back in and tuck it to kind of give, you know, the flares of the fire, basically. Okay. Alright, it's good enough. I might, if I had more time, I may add a third 160 ruby on the top here. But I'm gonna just kind of move on here. Okay, so here's our basic larger flame with the flares. Flame on! Okay, so what I would use this for is a tiki torch, which I'm going to show you next, how to make a tiki torch. And the tiki torch is the base, basically the wicker basket part that holds the fuel that the fire comes out of. So I completely made this design up. It's I hope you like it. Okay, so I'm working with 160 Qs. Unfortunately, I came up with this design after I submitted the product list, so you can use whatever you have. I have I have 4 blush. These are 160s. I have 4 mocha browns, 160s, and then approximately 2 of the chocolate browns. We're going to make 5 rings out of the chocolate brown. They're going to be different sizes. The first ring, there's too many pumps to count. Okay, so the first ring is going to be approximately 12 inches, 12 to 13. Approximately, that's a little bit too large. I want my 4 160s to fit through here, and I want it to be nestled, but not too tight. So I'm going to reduce a little bit. This is about 12 inches. The next ring is going to be slightly smaller. I could try and count the pumps. Ready? Oh my goodness. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one's just like an inch shorter, maybe a half an inch. Very gradual difference in size. Okay. I might make one in between this size now that I look at it. But I'm making 5 of these guys, so if this doesn't make, I'm going to make the whole thing. So I use this as my small guy. This is a small ring, so we're working at 7 inches. I hope it's not too small. Challenging to tie. Okay. Now I'm on to my second 160 chocolate brown. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This guy is 10 inches. I had the pleasure of meeting Keith and Dom here in Sacramento, California, when they came out with Robbie Furman for a workshop. This was actually one of the first workshops I've ever taken. I've been doing balloons for a really long time, guys, like 23 years. I was born into the business. This is my family's business. I'm third generation, but I hadn't really attended classes and taken too many workshops. So when I met Keith and Dom in Sacramento, that class really blew me away. You guys are amazing teachers, and I strive to be at your level, but far from it. Nevertheless, I learned so much from those guys, and so it's really cool to see them again. Okay, so I've got my 5 rings. I'm gonna sort of pick them in order from big to small. Okay, just gonna set them there. I'm using the Rolls.
You could see it.
Okay, the Rolls Royce of air machines, air inflators. I hear. I'm just gonna make it a little faster. So I'm basically inflating my 160s. It needs to be about 30 inches, probably less, but that's fine. So we have 4 of each color in mocha brown and blush. So a total of 8 balloons. This is a really weird design because I basically just I just observed a tiki torch and was like, okay, it's like a wicker basket, but there's not, they don't connect in the same way. How do I come up with my ideas for design? Whew. I love to dream. So usually when I'm lucid dreaming is when I come up with my ideas. Sometime between like 6 a.m. before I wake up. Lately I haven't been getting up until 11 because I ain't got anywhere to be. It's just messing my schedule up. But I wanted to say that Keith and Dom have been like the consistent thing. They've been like the cornerstone in this whole week. Like that's the one consistent thing. I can turn the cue corner on and there they are. I was like, oh, okay, everything's okay. Those guys are on. They're just the best. I mean, I know they're really tired right now, rightfully so. But I've been thinking about them a lot and just really appreciating the job they do. So I tied these together, matching colors. We will start with the blush. So I'm going to make a series of 4 pinch twists. Try to do this so you can see it. Really small bubble. I guess it's like a 1/2 inch bubble. Each one gets a 1/2 inch bubble. This does not have to be accurate. It's going to be hiding, but of course, practicing helps keep it accurate. Alright. So now we have our 4 1/2 inch bubbles. Voila. I'm taking my large ring, I'm shoving it into it. So you can see how there's a little bit more slack than I probably want. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm wrapping it back around. And I want it to be somewhat tight, but not too tight that it pulls it back out of the loop. If this loop was tighter, I'm just going to correct it, guys. I'm sorry, I'm a perfectionist. I think it will help keep it in place if it's slightly tighter. Okay, so I'm basically pulling this through and I'm measuring about right there. Approximately 6 inches. And then I'm going to twist it into a bubble. I'm going to do each one that same 6 inches. We had created a whole playlist of songs that involve fire, but I decided to not play it just because I took a class that had music on it, and it was really distracting. And she was a great teacher, and she was playing reggae music, which is my favorite. And I had a really hard time following the class because the music was so distracting. So I decided to just, I lost my pinch tool. It's getting kind of messy. Good. Okay. I messed up on this somehow, but ideally your loops are even, which mine are not. But we're going to move on. Okay, so we've got the first here. We're going to grab the mocha browns, and each one is going to slip through the gaps. Come back to your question about how do I come up with my designs. I mean, I think it has to be an outside source. I honestly don't that's sorry, it's distracting me. What was I saying? I have to have somebody request something from me, and then that's when my true creative juices come. If I just want to do something and spitball, it usually doesn't work out the same way as when somebody else wants something from me. Okay, so we slipped all of the mocha brown through the gaps. Now we're going to take our medium size, or the second largest ring.
Show the bottom. Huh? Show the bottom.
Oh, sure. Like that?
Mm-hmm.
This is the top. This is the bottom. I'm gathering all of the blush. I'm going to slide the ring around it. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this.
You're going to see it closer to the camera. So now it should get easier from here.
there's not really any more twisting involved. We just want to evenly space so that each balloon is between, each mocha brown balloon is between each blush balloon. Now we're doing the third.
Show it like all sides with the first. Yeah, the front.
Okay. Now I'm taking all of the mocha browns and sticking them through that third ring. And now I'm repeating and taking on the blush. And sliding them down. So if you guys wanted to make this tighter, I think the rings, the chocolate brown rings would need to be smaller, just slightly. But if you make them too small, then they start to separate. Okay. Last ring. It's the smallest ring. It barely fit. It's almost too small. I am making a tiki torch. So this is the wicker part of the tiki torch. We're going to add a flame on top of this. Okay, so I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings. You can see how my inconsistency really shows. God. Please forgive me. Okay, next is the last set where we just grab the blush and we're going to finish it off by twisting them together. Tighter. I'm collecting them all to be at the same level at this point so I can finish this off. And then I'm choosing the blush to be the end. So I'm just rolling it around, creating little bubbles and sealing it off so that I can trim it. Okay. I got it. Pizza sauce?
Yeah.
Ah, pizza from Australia. Looks like you got the right time. How's it going, girl? Well, there's a couple of flaws, but it's really waxed. Alright. You can straighten out and put your knots of the rings. You can kind of hide those guys. Alright, so here's my tiki torch, the base of it at least. I have a straw that I'm going to use to kind of wedge in here so that I can slide this into my knot lamp. Okay, so I'm going to take my flame and I'm going to use the top of these to tie in to the bottom of the flame. Alternative colors, I mean, if you want to do like bright colors, you can certainly go more tiki colors, like goldenrod and purples and pinks. So alternating. I think I would keep the rings the same color. So then, for the last bit, we're just gonna hide. We're gonna do a sixth ring. I might do this black, but since I have this mocha brown, actually I'll do black. I got black because that'll represent the torch part that's burning, and it's a really small ring, probably about 4 inches. And I'm literally just tying it on to hide those mechanics. Alright, there's my tiki torch. Huh?
Bring it in.
What do you want?
Yeah. If we could
Okay.
lower it lower.
It's pretty loud, I guess. I think I have a bit of performance anxiety, so I'm going faster than I'm used to. Therefore, my thing's kind of messy. However, you can slide this into a knot lamp, like so. Okay. Put that right here. And then I have my other tiki torch on this side. Horse sees a fire-breathing dragon. Yes, you could certainly make a fire-breathing dragon with this technique, for sure. This is a pre-made fire where I had used ivory. Just ivory and goldenrod. Just add this here. I like symmetry. It's very tribal looking. Okay, I'm gonna just do this finish this last torch, and then we're gonna move on to a larger one. I need to get this open. If you decided to do fire breathing, which I was actually part of, the skinny yellow stick is a straw, basically, and it's just like a simple plastic straw. It's something that's small and thin that will kind of wedge into the sculpture and slide into a knot lamp. You could probably wedge it into a larger thing. I just didn't think the knot lamp was going to be too fat. So. Alright, this isn't happening. Alright, we'll skip that. I was practicing a little bit, and good morning, Holland. What is it? I don't know, how do you say it? I don't remember. I did this with a 260 Qs. I only used 2 vertical pieces as opposed to 4 with the 160s. And the 160s has 4 pieces, and this has only 2 chrome copper and 2 chrome gold, and then I used black for the rings. I thought this looked a little bit more Olympic-like, which could be more of a torch. You know, you pass it. Where I was also trying to create something that was actually more traditional tiki, like this guy, which is more wooden colors and wicker. So either one works. I just think that if you do the 260 Qs, it's going to be a lot fatter. So you either need to only do 2 vertical versus 4. And then if you do it fatter, you would need a larger flame to match the proportions. Okay, so that's our tiki torch. Hope you guys like that one. It was inspired. Very cool. Thank you, Peta. Thank you, thank you. Okay, guys. Next up is we're going to do a big bonfire. And I think you can see it in the background, even though you're not supposed to. Excellent. You like the chrome torch, Cubby? Sweet. I'll leave it up for right now, so you can observe it. I had practiced. Yeah, I'm not going to show you this one. My dog got it. Okay, so next up is we're going to do the big bonfire, which you can kind of see in the distance over here. Basically, same concept, larger balloons, more of them. So I'm using 350s, 260s, and then 160s. This is a fire that I did last week. So it's kind of burning out, it's dwindling. However, it still holds up as far as my example goes. This is what we're going to make next. So, what you will need is 6 of each color. So we're going with 6 350 citrine, 6 350 goldenrod, 6 of each, gold, goldenrod, citrine, orange, and red. And then our flares are going to be the 260s, and those are going to be approximately 3 of the orange, 3 of the gold, 3 of the goldenrod, and then we're going to do 160s, which is approximately 3 of each color in the orange, red, and goldenrod. I cheated and did them ahead, you guys. I know it's supposed to be live, but this took me like 40 minutes to inflate, so since you guys can rewatch this video. Hey, Rachel! You can follow along. So I've inflated 6 350 citrine, and these guys are 30 inches each, about 30 inches long, or a hand's width the tail. I've tied them together to make a 6-pack. So I've got my yellow. It's gonna get kind of big and crazy. So I'll start off on the table and I might have to end up on the floor. It doesn't quite matter what order you choose these to go in. I think that the citrine looks best on the bottom, but you could switch it up if you wanted to put gold. Let's switch it up just to compare them. So I'm gonna go citrine, gold, goldenrod. Orange. Red. Okay. But because I'm making this card for myself, I have to stick the flares in there as well. You can add the flares later, which is kind of how I've been doing it, but I thought that it would be a little easier. Wait. You Connor thinks my work is stunning? Say what? Are you sure you're not stunned off as lack of sleep? Okay. Stay. Okay guys, I think I gotta move to the floor. And I realized I forgot to demonstrate a really quick thing first, so I'm just gonna set this aside really quick. So, our flares have to do with, these are the flares. It's the ones that are bringing the movement. We have the main formula that creates the folds of the fire, and then this is what brings like the flames out. So, the way we do the squiggles, as I call them, is I can either use a machine, or if you don't have a machine, I'll show you another way. But basically, I'm taking a 260 cube, and this is the end. And I'm trying to keep it very flat. Once it twists, it will be hard to inflate. So I have it flat, I'm keeping it flat, and I'm squeezing out the air, and as I squeeze it, I'm wrapping it. So it's pretty tight. I'm only wanting the tip to curl, so this much is going to go straight, and then once it reaches the pump, it should curl up. Okay. Okay, so there's my little squiggle. You want to stretch it out, you know, you can get more of a wavy. And you could also make it curl more if you were inclined. All right, I'll demonstrate that one more time. So sometimes you want to put the neck, well actually we'll do a 160 because it's harder. So for a 160, you definitely want to put the neck on first and try not to pull too tight. And so in this instance, I'm laying it down and I'm pressing my thumb to hold it in place so it doesn't pop off the machine. And now I'm stretching and I'm trying to, again, keep it very flat and not let it turn or fold. And then when I let go, I can unroll it a bit and then press it. If it does curl on itself, it most likely will pop, but you can correct it if you're paying attention. And sometimes you just gotta start again. So it's just like curling that way. I want it to go up. I just tell it, go up. This one client I was working for, she's like, how do you do those with balloons? I said, oh yeah, these balloons work for me. She said, what? The balloons work for you? Yeah, I don't work for the balloons work for me. If you do not have a machine, I'm going to teach you this technique. It goes back to Linda Bruce. So basically I've taken a tube. I think fatter is better, but it's hard to get this type of tube. I think this tube is probably like 6 inches fat, maybe. So I've taken a 260Q and I've wrapped it around. I sucked out all the air, so it's got a lot of tension, and then I tightened it, so it's super tight. I'm going to take the end of the 260Q and slide it in there. Same concept. Give it about like a thumb's width, and you're going to do the same technique, but you don't want to pull too hard because it'll just pop out. I'm pressing. Okay. I have this wedge between my thighs. If I had done it tighter, it would have been tighter, but I didn't. If you want to tighten it, you certainly can by, let's head this off. That one takes a little bit more finesse, and I think sometimes a smaller tube can make it tighter. But this is a good alternative if you don't have a machine, although it's very challenging to do. So with the machine, with the hand pump, it's a little bit more warped, and I did not make it long enough. However, you can still tweak it and adjust it, make it how you want. This type of stuff is going to change once you add it to the fire. All right, so these are my flares. We're going to try to weave these into the base of it. I've prepared a bunch of head, and I've paired them together. So I've got my oranges. I've got 4 260 squiggles in orange, 4 goldenrod in orange. Oh, that's 3. And 4 gold. I'm going to try and incorporate these by stacking them in between. I'm skipping yellow because it doesn't need to have a flare. It looks too weird. Okay. Can you see me down here? I'm moving onto the floor for space reasons. I'm going to need a time. So I've got yellow, gold flare, goldenrod flare, orange flare, red, and I don't think I tied my red together. I made about 6 red flares, and I'm going to leave some of them out. Don't want to add them in later. But I will make another group of red here. We'll go with 5, tying them together. This part's a little tedious, and I thought I should do it ahead so you guys don't have to watch me do this, but you're not going to learn otherwise. So it's very hard because it's hard to keep track of the order. However, it doesn't have, there's a lot of room for error. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so here we are with everything stacked. Whew. Okay, start with yellow. At this point, I don't really know what is what just yet. So I'm going to just start tying them together. And it's going to be loose at first. This is where you can really shape the fire if you want it to be more, fat at the bottom and then flaring out, or if you want it to be more, tall and steep. This is where you would sort of determine the width of it. So my goal is to get one of each color in between the yellow, which is like a mess right now. So I got 2, 4, 6 colors. So I need to even this out. Orange here, orange red, golden that goes on this side. Oops. Gold. When I taught my first class at Float, I had a snafu happen where I had misplaced a bag and it really kind of messed me up. And later, these 2 women came up to me after class and were thanking me. That it was so nice to see me mess up because it made it real, first of all, and they also got to see how I handled and dealt with, how to make it right. So, I'm not sure if I've got. Oh, okay. I think I have one of each color in between the yellows. If my eyes don't deceive me.
You need orange in that column.
Orange where?
No, it's good.
It's good? Okay. Next up is goldenrod. So I'm gonna go to the left of the yellow. And this time I'm gonna try and go opposite, and that should help me keep track of these colors better.
Someone says one side has 2 reds.
Well, there's some flares. Oh yeah, I see that. I see it right here. I see the red. Okay. You can totally fix it by just sliding it through. Okay. Thank you. So I'm gonna do gold. Golden on. The one thing with this design is there's a lot to cut off. And I think it's good to do it together. A firebender. Nice. I'm going to trim as I go, but it's really important to make sure your knots are tight because if they are not, they will pop off when you cut them. Okay. drops just to be safe. You might want to try it twice. Okay. I have my 6 gold, so I've got my second layer. So next would be the golden flares, these curly ones here. You know what? I'm gonna leave those out, and we'll come back to those. We'll wrap them in later. So goldenrod would be next. So I'm doing yellow, gold, goldenrod, and I'm gonna go opposite. So I got yellow, gold, goldenrod. Add these guys together. So can you see all right?
You're good.
Okay. What's my time?
It's 12:22.
Huh?
12:22.
What time do we start?
I think we're about now. If you did not trim these, I honestly don't think it's going to show that much unless somebody's like really sticking their face in there and trying to figure it out. If you don't want people to figure it out, trim your nuts. If you don't care, I think you can get away without trimming them. I tend to think it's a good habit to trim them. I always like to hide my mechanics. Next up is orange. Okay. Again, I'm following the same pattern here. These flares are starting to interact with the space. So we'll just work around them. So weird working at my house. My dog's around here somewhere, but hopefully he won't come in here, or else the class is over. He's gonna steal my audience. Alright. Sweet. Next up is red. So the red is like pretty long. I don't know if I want it that long. I just so there's 6 balloons per layer. Each balloon is approximately 30 inches. However, it sort of depends on, like right now, this is a very different sizing, so it's a little inconsistent, but that's okay. I sort of think that red being taller works. It gives it a little bit more, like the the flame gets taller and longer. However, if it's too long, it just doesn't quite work. And you may want to link them together. No! Yeah, I didn't tie my knot tight enough. Don't do what I did. Almost done with the red here. This fire's getting stoked. Okay. Bueno. Okay. Here's what we are at so far. So, before we proceed, I want to make the bottom part, which will give us a foundation that we can let it hold up itself, and it'll be a little bit more stable. The bottom portion is round balloons, and I'm going to use my machine. Thought it was the heart you designed. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what you mean by the heart. Sunglass? Is it? Sumaya? Which heart? Sure. Okay. So, the base is, it's basically like 11 inches, 9 inches, and then 5 inches. Again, not super accurate. On this size, I'm doing a 20R sizer. The first base, it's going to be 3 tiers of 4 balloons each. The first tier will be size of 3.0. My sizer is not here, but that's approximately 10 inches. So I'm doing 2 black and then 2 agate for. No, the bottom one's all black. My bad.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram. Here's our Instagram.
Lower.
Okay. The next size is going to be 2 black and white agate. One of my favorite balloons. It's probably like 8 inches, about 7 to 8 inches. So yeah, this is one of my favorite balloons, but I'm gonna have to say that clear is my favorite color. It's Al Natural. The last tier is gonna be all agates, and it's approximately 6 inches. Hueco. Let's see. All right, my last 4 packs. Okay.
stand?
Wherever. Good.
On the table stand?
Oh,
I have a scrap piece of monoline that I'm going to use. And it's basically just stacking the 4-packs. So, 4-pack of black, size 10 inches. Four-pack size 8 or 9 inches. And then weave it back through and tie it off. If I can, because there's enough line here. Oh well.
a lot of agate.
I have a sand weight, which is just latex filled with sand. You can use water too. I prefer. It's a stress ball. Stress ball. I'm just gonna tie this guy in here. My line didn't go all the way down, so I'm gonna basically, use the. Oh man, this is barely strong enough. Alright, here's my little charcoal thingy that the fire is going to rest on. I will use a uninflated 260Q stretchy. I squeeze the air out so it's nice and strong. And I'm just going to wrap this around, and this is what I'm going to tie the fire. I'm going to loop this 2 to 3 tiers up to the goldenrod layer, to the 3rd layer. Nice and tight. I'm going to try to go equally around, and I'm just going back to that first level on the base and tie it off. And then I'll use the other one and secure it to kind of create an X. I don't want the fire to move around and tip or turn crooked. So it needs to be somewhat cinched, somewhat tight. Alright. Let's switch.
Can you repeat the size of the base? Can you repeat the size of the base?
So we have a 4-pack of about 11 inch, 10 inches, a 4-pack of 9 inch, 10 inches, and then a 4-pack about 6 inches, 7 inches. And then it has a weight, a sand weight at the very bottom, so it's pretty stable and heavy. It can still fall over, but you know, depends on the party it's going to. Okay, now we have all of these flares. This is the part that gets a little bit artistic and time consuming. So depending on how much time I actually have, I'm not sure how much I'm going to finish this particular thing. I'm taking my flares and I'm sort of wedging them around.
one we're going to go under. I'm basically just kind of wedging them where they fit and where it seems like they want to go, and the spots need to be filled. And I've reserved a handful of the red ones to come in, and they're going to be a little bit taller. So I'm not sure if my shortcut worked. My shortcut was to add the flares into the weave, and I'm not sure that it's working. It's the first time I've done it this way. So kind of works, but they seem to be a little bit too short. So I'm not sure. We'll have to make up for it by adding some additional ones here. Okay, so these are the guys that I had started with. Here's where you could use glue if you wanted. And at this point, we're building it taller. So I'm literally just shoving them in. It's not special. You just don't want them to pop out, obviously. And you don't want them to really be showing the tails. I have reserved a few 160 goldenrods and some more 160 rubies. The drawback with just shoving them in, if somebody does come up and goes, "Oh my god, look at this fire!" What? Who knows if anyone's going to do that. You can glue them in, you can tie them in. Like after they're tucked, you would tie them in, come around. I think adding some gold up here breaks up the red a bit. The red looks a little strong and it starts to blend together. Okay. I probably would spend another half an hour working on this to make it look how I would want it to, but we don't have the time for that. So what we'll finish it off with is some more 160 Qs at the very top. So again, I may opt to tie these in since there's not as much tension at the very top of the fire. In which case I would wrap them around and maybe meet them, do a duplet connecting and tie them together so it doesn't fall out. And then to finish it off, we would add the clear on top. And this could become like more like expanded. You could do the fire going out more. I kind of like it to go in and then possibly make it a little taller. Thank you, Sonia, for liking my wire hanger. It's a shopping hanger. I'm gonna do another. I think I do about three 3 clear 160s for the smoke. So I'm gonna just use the machine one more time here. Am I off the thing? And I just want the very tip to curl. So I'm holding it with my thumb, and then this is where the tension is as I wrap around. It's very tricky. It takes a bit of practice. Remember, you make the balloons work for you, how you want them to be. Alright. I think that's good for now. Alright. So it's that's what we got so far. Where's the camera here? Okay, I'm just gonna set this on this side. I don't know how much time we have. Oh, here's my other one. We're at 11, so it should be 12:30. What time is it?
$12:41.
Keith, how much time do we have? Okay. That's okay. Okay, well, I was planning on making a ring of fire, which was what this is going to be, and that basically is pretty basic. Basically, it's basic. So, I would be taking the flames that I have done ahead and using 260 Qs, rubber bands to tie them in. And in this instance, we would want to kind of tie them to the side, like such. And then we would be attaching them. I already have the tie point. If you want it to be and no, I'm not supposed to use my mouth. It's so counterintuitive. Okay, I have to rewire my brain to not use my mouth. Okay, well, I don't think we have enough time to do this, so I'll basically just do 3 flames at the top of this ring. Originally, I was planning on creating like a ring of fire going at the top and then a few flames here. And you would do like a big flame, small flame, and then like a little flame. And if you wanted to create, my other plan was to do a cauldron, which was going to be resting on this base. But I don't have that here. Let's go with this guy. Okay, well, I guess I won't do anything else because it would start a whole new
Project.
wave.
Log on to leabeck.com.
If
If you want, I'll show you on Lea Beck.
I'm sorry. What? Excuse me. Yeah, so Lea, this is what I have a website, leabeck.com, as well as I Heart Balloon Art on Instagram, and you can follow me on those. It also has links to my business page, which is the Balloon Man Online. That's my main business. I Heart Balloon Art is more of my passionate projects, and leabeck.com includes some classes and tutorials from some of the animals I taught at Float. And eventually I'll have the formula for this fire too. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Fire!
Guys,
Gonna
in
try
the
It helped
Survivor
if our
over
microphones
here.
were on. We were
in
too
the
busy
in the
doing
chat,
roast again.
we need you to show a lot of love. Show a lot of love for Lea. Absolutely love that, Lea.
Thank you.
Yes, we really
I'm
did.
glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I couldn't stop watching. It was just the way that it came together was beautiful in its simplicity as well at times. But the little
Yeah.
torches on the Tiki-Torches, wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
It looks.
A little
Yeah.
windswept at the moment, yeah, a little windswept.
It's just, the
Yeah.
draft is blowing this way.
Hello.
Oh.
We've got a guest
Here we go.
through the fire hoop.
No,
Stage
Oh,
fright.
stage fright.
Hi.
Well, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate the effort you put in there.
Thank you.
If you can take the time, if you drop onto the chat in a little bit, because I'm sure people have got more questions that they would love to ask you, and also I'm sure they would love to say how thankful they are because, I mean, people.
I've never seen so many flame emojis.
Yes, and
in my life.
and the gold heart nuggets as well. I think people are going to be taking a lot from this particular class. I know we will. I know we will.
Great. I hope so. That was my intention. So thank you for having me. And you guys keep up the good work.
Thank you for joining us.
Obviously-
We'll
thinking
do our
about you.
best. We'll do our best. Okay, thank
Bye.
you. We'll see you soon.
Bye for now, Lea.
How?
Okay.
How? It's dead easy. You just always, like I say, we're balloon vampires.
And Red Bull.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We'll see you later, Lea. You take care.
Bye.
Stay safe, and we'll speak soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.